Brendan Allen upsets RDR and makes him quit. Meanwhile, life goes on in East Hastings, Vancouver, Canada. We're going to talk about it just as we talked about it in the live stream, reacting to UFC Vancouver fight night. Yeah, absolutely an awesome night of fights. A lot of great upsets, a lot of great performances. None better than Brandon Allen. Why? A lot of people expected him to lose coming into this fight. He came in here on a short notice. On top of that, D. Ritter was here getting ready for Anthony Hernandez, which, by the way, he had to pull out due to an injury. Now, it makes you wonder what would happen if Anthony Hernandez had fought this fight, considering the fact that the way Brendan Allen beat him was through sheer perseverance. What does Anthony Hernandez specialize in? And being able to push the pace and possibly beat D. Ritter the way that Allen did tonight. As you know, over the years, UFC Vancouver has held some pretty interesting cards going back to the days of Damian Maia and Carlos Condit. Of course, there was more to other cards than that. There was the Amanda Nunes, Aldana Oliveira versus Dariush. And of course, tonight, Vancouver returns with another UFC card. And it was awesome. You want to know why? Because the card delivered in ways that we would have never expected. By the beginning of round one, you had De Ritter literally dominating Brendan Allen all throughout the fight. Next thing you know, Brendan Allen starts reversing, starts getting his own scramble exchanges, getting the best of these scramble exchanges. Then next thing you know, he's right on top. Next thing you know, it's the first round, it's the second round, it's the third round. And then in the last round, I'm thinking, wow, this is great. We're going to see D. Ritter in a championship situation, at least on the UFC side. We know that back in ONE FC, he was a double champion and fought as a heavyweight. And here's something you got to understand. Just because you are a double champion in another organization, it's a completely different animal in the UFC, a completely different set of nervousness, a completely different set of anxiety that comes into play. And then next thing you know, that bell goes off. Fight round one. And of course, he was doing great. He was doing. Eventually, let's be real about this. He made him quit. I'm talking about legitimately made him quit because he had a chance to get out there in the fifth round, possibly win the fight. He decided to sit on his stool. What are you going to do about that? Absolutely nothing. The referee can't force you to get out there and fight. Your corner can't force you to get out there and fight. You got to go out there and get yourself out there to fight. And he didn't do that. What happened in the process? Guess who had a response to all of this? These bullshit guy give up. Now you're probably wondering, a little bit harsh on the side of Khamzat to say this, right? Well, let's look back at what they have been saying to each other as far back as August of this summer. D. Ritter says back in August, as you read it right here, right? There's a date, August 19th, RDR, dead. You're effing dead. He says, send me location. Okay, well, a bit of a friendly little banter, no disrespect there or anything like that. But were you really ready for Khamzat? I thought we found out tonight whether you were really ready for Khamzat or not. Man, I got to tell you, Brendan Allen was really underestimated in this fight, very much underestimated. And as a result of that, D. Ritter had to pay. and he paid dearly. Now, look, this tells you a lot about Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel was an excellent wrestler, but a very underdeveloped MMA fighter. Whereas with RDR, he was a overdeveloped MMA fighter, well-rounded MMA fighter, but got outgrounded by somebody like Brendan Allen. And once again, Brendan Allen, in my opinion, he deserves a title shot above anybody else in the 185 division. Now, if you look right here, Brendan Allen is at number 9. Tonight, he beat somebody at number 4. Even though Brendan Allen lost to Sean Strickland, even though Brendan Allen can lose to Anthony Hernandez, even though Brendan Allen can lose to anybody at any God-given night, he can also win with a bit of some tweaks in his technique. You see, Brendan Allen isn't exactly the most high IQ'd fighter there is out there. Let's be honest about that, right? And as a result of that, sometimes this fight IQ or lack of fighting IQ is going to fail him. But if he gets in there, hones down, puts a method to his madness, he can beat absolutely anybody in the world. Now take a look at this. Coming in tonight, D. Ritter was number 4. Brendan Allen was number 9. Where does that put him up there? He can beat any of these guys at any given time. He could beat Israel Adesanya. He could beat Kaio. Maybe he can beat Dricus. But does he deserve Khamzat Chimaev? I tell you what, maybe he does. You want to know why? Tonight, we were thinking the winner between RDR and Anthony Hernandez, right? Well, Anthony Hernandez falls off. What do we do now? Well, you brought in Brendan Allen in there, somebody who's a ranked fighter in the top 10, actually gets a win. And this is what I love about the sport. This is literally what I love about the sport. You see, what I love more than anything about this sport is the fact that at any given Saturday, anybody can win at any time. That is the God honest truth. And this fight is a proven example of that. Brendan Allen was able to come here at a short notice, fight D. Ritter, who came in here with a full camp and made him quit. That is the beauty of MMA. Next thing you know, Brendan Allen could be in the top 5. Next thing you know, he could easily get a title shot against Khamzat. All he needs to do is wait. Because they're talking about Imavov could be fighting Khamzat Chimaev next. They're talking about maybe Anthony Hernandez. Maybe they're talking about a rematch with Dricus. I don't know at what world that even matters. I tell you what, though, Dricus can go fight D. Ritter. This is not the end of D. Ritter. I know that I got a thumbnail that calls him a quitter, but is he really a quitter? Let me tell you something. No fighter is a quitter, ever. I need you to understand it. There are no fighters who are quitters, but he did quit tonight. Now, why do I say that on a thumbnail? Because it's sensationalized. It's perfect for people to click on. It is the overwhelming narrative right now that he quit. Or is it that Brendan Allen made him quit? More on this in a little bit. Let's get to the full cards, and then we'll get back to the main event. Starting from the very bottom all the way to the top, we start off with Melissa Croydon gets a 3rd round TKO stoppage against Lisboa. Then we move on to Yujiri Belragu versus Azmat. Now, very interesting fight. He got taken down a couple of times by Azmat. He was able to get back up, hits him with a 1-2 shot, finishes him in the 3rd round. That fight could have gone to anybody. Luciano versus Oliveira gets a 3rd round rear naked choke on the finish. And then as we move on to the card, what do we got here? We have Santos getting a unanimous decision against Barlow. And then we got Bruno Silva getting a rear naked choke against Park. By the way, a very interesting rear naked choke, right? It was a rear naked choke that sort of resembled a bulldog choke. Didn't exactly wrap his legs around him, just basically grabbed him from behind. No diddy, okay? And then just choked him like that. Next thing you know, we got Erling taking on Cody Gibson. 21 seconds. Straight right, and then followed up by a hammer fist. Cody Gibson threw a lazy inside kick, which cost him getting hit with that straight right. Down he goes for the finish, 21 seconds. Drew Dover. How about this? He gets a point taken away. All right. And as a result of that, he had to fight with a sense of urgency. Okay. After fighting that sense of urgency, what did he do? Drew Dover got in there and realized this fight could go either way. He decided, you know what? I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go for the finish because I'm not going to leave it in the hands of the judges. And that is exactly what he did. Punches, knees, and elbows to finish it in the third round. Kyle Nelson taking on Matt Pravola. Gets a unanimous decision against Matt Pravola. Charles Jourdain taking on Davey Grant. Gets a first round guillotine choke. I knew Charles Jourdain was able to do this. Hometown favorite on top of that. Manon Farut knocks out Jasmine Javicius. Now, the way that Manon is built, she is built like a tough dude, okay? I don't know how else to describe it. Built like a tough dude. And that's exactly what she did. Fought like a tough dude and finished her off in the first round. Punches and knees. That is over. Ayman Zahabi versus Marlon Chito Vera. That fight could have gone either way. Ayman Zahabi did a very good job circling around Marlon Chito Vera, getting away from his power shots. There were a few times where Marlon Vera was able to sort of corner him into the cage. But ultimately, the game planning of Ayman Zahabi and his famous brother, Faraz Zahabi, famous trainer of Canada, former trainer of George St. Pierre, one of the greatest of all times, came in there with a game plan, and that's exactly what they did. Came off with a split decision win, one of the biggest wins of his career, right up there with Jose Aldo. Obviously, Jose Aldo is a legendary name, but Marlon Chito Vera right now is one of the top guys in the 135 division, former title contender, challenger, challenger contender. Ayman Zahabi is getting right up there with each and every single one of these wins. And as his competition gets stiffer and stiffer, Mike Malott gets a decision over Kevin Holland. There were a few times where Kevin Holland got hit with a low shot. And as a result of that, he decided, man, you know what? I'm going to take all the time in the world, right? All the time in the world. Very similar to one of the earlier fights. I believe it was the Drew Dover and the Proplek fight. Right? Kevin Holland literally passed 5 minutes of rest time. Luckily, the TV time slot allowed for it because it was the main card and it was the co-main event. But by the end of it all, Mike Malott got a unanimous decision over Kevin Holland. No shame in Kevin Holland. This is a normal Kevin Holland fight. Sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses. He often goes to a decision. Very few people can finish Kevin Holland. But if they do, their names are Khamzat, and it's certainly not Mike Malott. But Mike Malott was good enough to get the win over Kevin Holland tonight, which, by the way, Kevin Holland these days is sort of like a gatekeeper, right? A gatekeeper of the 170 division. But it doesn't mean Mike Malott is ready for the championship levels, at least not yet. But he proves that he's ready for whoever is next to Kevin Holland or somewhere within that neighborhood. Then we move on to the main event of the evening. So obviously, this is the topic at hand that we are talking about. He made him quit. There's no doubt about it. He made him quit. Everything was going good until it wasn't. You want to know why? because all of a sudden he realizes, wow, all these reversals that Brendan Allen has been throwing at him was making the fight a whole lot more difficult than what he would have liked to realize. And as a result of that difficulty, he broke. Now, once again, let me remind people this is not the last time you're going to see D. Ritter. Okay, this is not the first time or the last time you will ever see him as D. Quitter. There's going to be times where he's going to quit, depending on who it is. If he was to fight Khamzat, he would absolutely quit. If he was to fight Anthony Hernandez, he would absolutely quit. For the most part, once again, on any given Saturday, any of these guys can beat anybody at any time. Tonight, Brendan Allen proved that. And with that in mind, that is all that I have for this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one, inshallah.
Starting off the list of good. Oh, this actually he's gonna go into neutral too because this guy's he's wild as shit sometimes. But he's a fucking I'm telling you, Khair El-Kheer, he's wild as shit. He's going into neutral for different reasons. He's fucking wild. But he's the type of guy that you would want on your side. I feel like this guy just has an immense fucking loyalty about him. He's a good fucking dude. He is loyalty over royalty, defined to the fucking max. Now we start off the good cat. Yeah, I like Khair El-Kheer. Fucking so what?